distressing at times because one felt responsible almost for the lives of these people, of course, of their welfare every day. But there were some amusing and some quite delightful experiences. Occasionally there was a wedding, and this was a most enjoyable occasion. Gradually one began to admire these dear people who were so cooperative and tried so hard to fall in with rules and regulations of the camp life. There were a large number of military men acting as guards. They were generally in the camp. There were a large number of guards, the military men, who were on duty at all times, but they were men who, for one reason or another, were not fit to be sent overseas. And they had great cooperation from the Japanese people. They were all friendly, and I'm sure the Japanese felt they could go to the guards at any time and tell them of any wish or desire or any little trouble they had. We women were always ready to listen to any complaint, and gradually one felt a feeling of great responsibility for these people, almost as if their lives were in our hands. This is the ship on which the Japanese were repatriated to Japan. Later on, the lunchtime came, and we were served in the kitchen. We were served by two girls from the Chinese camp. At last, however, the war did come to an end. Just before this, people began to wonder what they were going to do, where they would be sent, could they go back to Japan, or what would happen to them. The senior officer, Miss Bunting, introduced me to the ladies by their Christian names. We never addressed each other in any other way. I understand we were under the British government, but we were paid by Australian military authorities, and we were wardens in camp. That really meant welfare officer. The internees were people from all parts of Australia and even from New Zealand. I remember one little Aborigine boy with a most beautiful singing voice. He didn't know a word of English and couldn't communicate with us, but he would sing. The site of the camp was on the slopes of a hill. Although we didn't find any gold, we had very happy time at these picnics with the rice cakes and the green tea, and they all seemed to think that that was a sign or a happy time. In the morning, my senior officer briefed me on what my work was to be during the day. I was to go around in the morning with the little orderly from Indonesia, Celia Miyakuni, who spoke a little Japanese, a little English, and a lot of Indonesian. Miss Bunting quickly organised a factory for the women in which they made little garments out of discarded clothes sent up from Melbourne and other places. In time, my father had retired and said he would like to come and live with me. So I didn't want to leave him 2 nights a week, and I gave it away. Yes, it did. I was called upon to teach many officers in the army and people who had to deal with the Japanese, I don't know what to say, anything to do with Japanese people.
Now,
At the time, when we arrived, I was ushered into a room where there were 4 or 5 ladies sitting drinking afternoon tea. Amongst them was a very jovial looking lady who, one family I remember came from Darwin. The husband was a photographer and he ran a store, and he was also an interpreter for the army and for the navy, not for the army, for the navy, and he helped at times when Japanese vessels would come too close to the coast and there would be a court case. He would then interpret for the Japanese. He was very loyal, and he was married to an Australian lady, and they had 3 children. The eldest boy was, eldest girl, Mary, was at school in a convent, and she had just won a scholarship for music, but she was home for her holidays, and one of the officers of the army came to the Nakashima home and asked Mr. Nakashima questions about various things relating to Japanese people, and he refused to tell them, and they asked him why. He was a stubborn old gentleman, and he said, "You ask the Navy, I work for them." Well, they said, "We're the army now and you must work for us." So they took him, and his wife wished to join him, and the 2 daughters, Mary and Rhoda, went with him into the internment camp. And this is the lady that helped me in the school. To the work of all the time. And there were 2 nursing sisters. One I shared my room with, and at night we would get sometimes a telephone call that someone was ill, or that a baby would be coming into the world very soon. We had to dress in our uniform, even to the collar and tie. We had no working clothes, no working, and off we went in the utility truck to the nearest hospital. On returning, sometimes we'd be on breakfast duty, and therefore we didn't get any more sleep till the next night. This sometimes was a little bit tiring. When the calls came through for a nurse and the leader of that compound to go, we were all very nervous and tense, hoping that it wouldn't be us. But very often we were glad that we went. Baby nurses amongst us, 2 young women who saw to the welfare of the babies and young children. Because the Japanese were coming down and down, closer and closer to Australia, and many of the men in the forces were being sent up to meet them, the islands, and I was able to give a slight knowledge to the officers to help them in their commands and in their military work. And also I was able to interpret a little at the barracks, and so in a small way I was able to contribute to the on arriving at the quarter. Spoken about the cooperation of Japanese people during the war. This went on for some months, and one day I, as I said before, joined up with the army and was sent to the internment camp at a place where we were supposed to keep the address quite.
Yeah, that story you wrote.
I moved on. Now, at the moment when I was there, I had nothing to do except sit in the sun, drink tea, sit.
Yeah.
In the beginning of the camp days, the people had very little to do but sit round in the sun or drink tea or talk to each other. And it was really remarkable what these women could make out of old clothes. Out of silk stockings they made little singlets for babies, and little dresses out of old pieces of people's clothes. Then she organised a factory for the men in which they mended shoes and even made shoes and did some tailoring. I spoke about the workroom for making clothes. Many strange and amusing incidents happened. There was also some tragedy. These cases were the army.
Can you mention? Hang on. Make sure it's connecting.
I noticed a change, a great change in the men of Japan. They had almost been, you might say, liberated. They came forward and talked to me and to other women. In the past they had been very reticent, and it was sometimes quite embarrassing to be left alone with the Japanese.
When you're ready, Monty.
Yeah. Secret, and was known as No Man's Land. All I knew was that it was near Tatura, somewhere within the vicinity of Shepperton and Beechworth. So then I think we had to dress in our full uniform. We had no working uniform.